Shadow of some of the world's tallest buildings, we were told of the most dramatic UFO experience that a human being has claimed so far.
So we're traveling along when suddenly a very strange looking, maneuvering craft started following us for several miles. In an area called Indian Head, this craft left the highway, left the top of the mountain, came out over the highway and stopped in midair. And we could see it through the binoculars. A curved windows, red light on each side. Now Barney decided to get out and try to identify this craft. And he saw a group of human-like figures standing in the window looking down at him. And he had the feeling that he was being told to keep looking, don't be afraid, no harm's going to come to you. And at that point, the craft started to descend. Barney was filled with fear, thinking he was going to be captured. He ran back to the car, and we took off speeding down the highway. We heard a series of beeping sounds. And a few miles beyond this, we heard a second series of beeping sounds. Now later, in our investigation of this, we began to realize that we could not remember what had happened between the two series of beeping sounds.
When the story leaked out, an eminent psychologist placed Betty and Barney into deep hypnosis.
The hypnosis proved that Barney and I had been captured and taken on board a UFO. After the first series of beeping sounds, we were speeding down the highway. Barney left the main highway onto a side road, and then a sudden left-hand turn onto a very narrow woods road. The beings whom he had seen on board the craft were now standing in the middle of this road. And the car motor stalled. Barney was trying to start the car. It wouldn't start. They separated, came up, and took us out of the car in two groups. They took us through a path in the woods to where the craft was on the ground, took us on board, took us into separate rooms, gave us physical examinations. And during this examination, we learned they had put a cup-like instrument on Barney's abdomen. Now, later, when we returned home, Barney developed a pattern of warts in a perfect circle. And we never knew until the hypnosis that that was the spot where this cup-like instrument was put onto him.
Well, you're one of the few people to have met aliens. What do they look like?
They all had very, very large eyes, very small nose, thin slit for a mouth, no hair, no eyebrows, eyelashes, and no this part of the ear that we could see. We did not notice teeth. In fact, when Barney was lying on the table looking up, one of them appeared to have sort of a membrane which fluttered behind his lips. It looked like a thin-skinned